Hello students, I am Meena Madam. Today I am going to start second chapter of economics, that is sectors of the Indian economy. Today in this chapter we have to study about very first one is the meaning of an economy, second is different sectors of an economy, third is to compare the three sectors of an economy, fourth is meaning of the gross domestic product, and last one is the historical changes in sectors of an economy of India and developed countries. So let us start with the meaning of an economy. An economy is a network of different economic activities. In fact, an economy can be divided into different sectors on different basis. First one is on the basis of nature of activities, second is on the basis of the nature of employment, and third is on the basis of the ownership. But today we have to study only about the different sectors of an economy on the basis of nature of activity. And in fact, that on the basis of the nature of activities, an economy can be divided into three sectors. First one is primary sector, second is secondary sector, third is tertiary sector. So let us study about all these three sectors. So first one is primary sector. Primary sector consists of all those enterprises. Here enterprises means industries which produce natural products making use of natural resources. Primary sector is also called primary since it forms the base for all other products that we subsequently means later make. It is also called agriculture and related sector since it is concerned to the agriculture and nature. For example, farming, forestry, fishing, etc. Second sector is secondary sector. Secondary sector consists of all those enterprises in which natural products are changed into other form through the wage of manufacturing. It is also called industrial sector since it is related to industry. For example, making sugar with sugarcane, making furniture with steel. Third sector is tertiary sector. It consists of all those activities that help in the development of primary and secondary sector. It is also called a service sector since tertiary sector produce only services. For example, communication, transportation, banking, etc. In fact, the main difference between the tertiary sector and other two sectors, that is primary and secondary sector, is that whereas tertiary produce only the services, primary and the secondary sector produce only goods. Now, second topic is how to compare the three sectors of an economy. In fact, the three sectors of an economy can be compared on the basis of the size of production generated by the different sectors of an economy. To calculate the size of production generated by the sector, only the account of here account means number of the final goods and services generated by the sectors of an economy is taken and its money value is calculated. The same process is used to calculate all the three sectors of an economy and compare it. In fact, the total production of all these three sectors of an economy is called gross domestic product. So very simple definition has been given for GDP, that GDP is the money value of all final goods and services produced within a country during a particular year. Here the final goods and services are those goods and services which are finally ready for the consumption. In India, the central government ministry, with the help of various government departments of all the Indian states and union territories, collect the information relating to the total volume of goods and services and their prices and estimates the GDP. One thing more regarding to the tertiary sector, that the tertiary sector employs two kinds of employees. First one is skilled employees, skilled employees and unskilled employees. Skilled employees are having technical knowledge about their work, whereas the unskilled employees do not have skilled knowledge about their work. They do the manual work, and both category of labor is essential for the service sector, that is the tertiary sector. Now the last topic that we have to study is historical changes in sectors of an economy in India and developed countries. So first we have to see the relative contribution of three sectors in an economy of developed countries with economic growth. First one is that in the initial stage of economic development, all the workforce get engaged in farming and related activities. It means primary sector dominated economy in the generation of income and employment both. In second stage, with the development, workforce begins to shift from primary activities to secondary sector, and with it many services started to take root, and industry and service sector became dominated. And in third stage, that is in advanced industrial economy, the growth rate of service sector outstrips the growth rate of industries and agriculture, and the service sector became the dominant in an economy of developed countries. If we compare the changes regarding the domination of different sectors in Indian economy with the pattern that was observed in developed countries, we find that in developed countries, in various first stage, there was the domination of agriculture and related sector, that is primary sector, in both GDP and employment. In second stage, the relative share of the agriculture in both GDP and employment had fallen, and the contribution of industrial sector and service sector had increased in both GDP and employment. And in third stage, the contribution of tertiary sector in both GDP and employment has increased. But in Indian economy, in very first stage of economic development, the relative share of the agriculture in both employment and GDP has increased. In second stage, The share of agriculture in Indian economy in both employment and GDP decreased, whereas the relative share of secondary and tertiary sector in both GDP and employment increased. But as the industrial sector could not develop so much, that's why in third stage agriculture continues to be the main source of employment in the economy, even it generates less than 20% of the GDP. See the bar graph 2 and 3 on page number 25. Now some question. Very first one is, how is the tertiary sector different from other sectors? Illustrate with a few examples. Second is, service sector in India employs two different kinds of people. Who are these? Third, compare and contrast the changes in India with the pattern that was observed for developed countries regarding to the shifting of sectors in an economy. Last is, what are the different sectors on the basis of nature of activities? Describe.